guys. How is it going? This morning, this evening, whatever it is. Tonight, this morning. Maybe there's still a couple of y'all up to come talk to me. Hey, what you doing? I've been trying to get some research done all day. I'm gonna call the TBI in the morning. I might have stumbled onto something, but I really can't say what yet. But this toy giving away thing has just really bothered me all day today. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they can do it. That's pretty definitive in your mind that somebody is never coming back when you give away all their belongings. What do you guys think? Let's see if I can set some sort of background here. Let's try bubbles. There we go. What else do I have? What's that? Ooh, I don't like that at all. That scares me. We'll stay with the bubbles. You know, I took a couple of hefty bags of coats and jackets and hoodies and stuff down to the homeless encampment Friday here locally. But my son's jacket that he wore last is hanging in my closet. And I just could not bear. And it's a size too small for me, so I can't wear it right now. But I just could not bear to get rid of it. Even though I knew that he wasn't coming back. I gave away like some of his pants and stuff like that, but he really loved that coat. He really loved that jacket. And I just couldn't get rid of it, so I just couldn't understand in my mind. You know, she told Chris McDonough that Paw Patrol was Summer's favorite things. And he told her not to move Chase on the case out of the flower pots and to leave her Paw Patrol stuff there. And it seemed like that was the one thing that Robin mentioned out of all her toys was her Paw Patrol stuff, her favorite things. And it just didn't sit right. It's not sitting right with me. To me, that says in their mind that they know for a fact that she's never coming back. And that's sad. So my question is where is she? Where could she possibly be? And did anybody catch the video that Ziggy recently released where Candace was telling about the day Summer come up missing? And she described where Jody Sue was standing when she first saw her. She said, "When you leave my driveway, you turn left. And when you get to the first road on the right," she was standing on that corner. She said she told everybody that she had been in the creek walking the creeks and she was soaking wet, but she said she was dry as a bone. And if she was on the right hand side of the road and she was that far down, she was not even on Don and Candace's property when Candace run across her. And going back and listening to what Jody Sue said about it, she said that soon as Candace started coming down the driveway in her mom's truck, that's when she stopped her and talked to her. So we have two very different conflicting stories about when they saw each other last, where they met up at, what was going on, who was wet, who wasn't. And also in Jody Sue's story, she said that the other neighbor was already out and about. And he started walking the banks of the creek while she was walking in the creek. Candace said that she ran to the other neighbor's house after she seen Jody Sue that was on that side of the road to see if that neighbor had actually seen her. So we have got some stories that are not just a little bit off or a couple of facts off. They are terribly, terribly off. If you have not seen that video that Ziggy just released recently of Candace telling her recollection of where she went that day. And she said that she turned on Hickory Drive and she went as far back in that hollow as she could get. I think Jay for Justice played it on her video tonight. Check that out and then go back and listen to the very first accounts. Well, just any account that Jody Sue has said. And they said that Ziggy has had this video for a good long minute, but she's just now releasing it. And I don't know why she sat on it for so long and is just releasing it. I mean, this would have been good information to have a minute ago. Unless she turned it into the TBI and she was given the TBI time to look into it. But I just don't think the TBI is really looking into any social media leads. And I think what we're going to find is probably a couple of people that might be involved is probably going to be related to the people mixed up in city politics there now. I'm not saying that is factual, I'm saying probably. Because law enforcement really is, hey Crystal, law enforcement is just really not giving this case or the leads the attention that they deserve. So, did everybody have a good Christmas? I hope so. My poor little doggy is just wore out from playing with her toys and eating all her treats all day and all weekend. And it was so funny. A friend of mine brought me by some makeup, a couple of pieces of new makeup and stuff. And she has no idea what's going on with the Summer Wells case as far as the tiny details or the things that we kid around about or anything. And she's like, you've got to try this great new makeup. She said it hides wrinkles really good. It kind of fills them in and stuff. And I was like, what is it? And she's like, it's this stuff called spackle. And I about died laughing. I thought it was so funny. Spackle. It's made by Laura Geller. I'm not real sure how to pronounce that. I posted it on my community wall. But I thought, that is just ironic that she would not know anything that we kid about like that. But there's actually a makeup out there that fills in wrinkles and lines, and it's called Spackle. I've got to go find my charger right quick, y'all. I always forget to get my charger when I come in here at night to start doing lives. I've eat too much all weekend. I've got a bellyache. Anybody else eat too much all weekend? I have eaten, I have eaten, I have eaten. And then right before I started my live, I ate some tater chips and dip. What's the topic? Well, a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a whole lot of summer. We were just discussing them giving her toys away. We have discussed the discrepancies in Candace's story and Jody Sue's story of when they saw each other on the 15th. Jay for Justice played the video tonight that Ziggy just released of Candace's account of when she first saw Jody Sue that evening when Summer came up missing. I know. I ate an extra ham sandwich earlier. It's not the sweets, it's the good food, right? Why? And I don't know why it got deleted, because I tried so nice. I tried so hard to be really nice, because they were honest and forthcoming about my concerns about the non-disclosure agreement. And he did come forward and say yes, that he had signed one, and know that they were not getting paid for it. And that's all I ever really wanted to know, was the truth about that. And I did not say anything ugly or anything tonight. I asked about the boys. Well, when he said he was going to lay it all out, I thought that he was going to say something worth hearing, and there might be some honesty in there, but it really wasn't anything that we didn't already know, or we hadn't heard before, and they are monetized. I noticed that tonight. And I said, why don't y'all just go ahead and be forthcoming with your information, and that may pressure law enforcement into making some statements. And one of the mods said, well, then one of the other channels will get it and make money off of it. Well, I had already seen like $40 in super chats come through. And I was like, well, what's the difference in Cam making money off of it and somebody else? What is the big difference, I said, I'm not monetized and I don't make super chats or anything. So, I mean, it don't make a difference to me regardless. And she said, well, it's what they do with the super chats. And I said, you can't really tell people how to spend their money. Once you give somebody something, that's like me giving you a pack of crayons and then telling you which one to color your picture with. But now, if I give you $10 and say, if I give this to you, you have to buy medicine with it, or you have to buy gas with it, and I put a stipulation on it before I give it to you, then that's different. But if I just send you a $10, $20 thing, then you can't really tell somebody how to spend their money. Well, I noticed today that the creators, and I'm not going to say any names, that the creators that We're just up there. We're kind of redropping all their videos in better formats with better titles, with all the um, extra, a lot of the extra garbage gone out of them. And it kind of looks like they're forming some sort of documentary out of it too. Right. That's what I told somebody last night. They said, well, Carl sent me over. I didn't even know that you were over here. And I said, well, I've been here, for like 5.5 months. But I'm just not in the algorithm because YouTube, I'm not monetized, so it does not drop me into the same algorithm as, say, it J for Justice or some of the bigger ones. Exactly. I didn't get any of my questions answered about him either. I think that was the one that got deleted. Of who is he really? I did ask about the PI that listed Summer as deceased. And I was told that it was a different PI. Well, how many PIs do they have working on that case? Pro bono, free of charge. I thought it was one set of PIs. And now that's not the case either. It seems like there's multiple sets from different places. Strange, right? Because that was definitely, one of my questions and concerns was, who are these people? Why are they doing it? And I had seen this morning where the sheriff had said that the lady had changed the information on Summer. Well, I don't have a Ancestry account. I wish I did. Oh, shoot, something fell. But when I was doing my research, I did run across some links for Ancestry to where what I saw changed was, hey, Bo, Don's name changed. It went from Donald Wesley Wells Jr. to Donald Wesley Walls Jr. in Ancestry. So I think she just went in there and changed the heading under the family tree. I'm not sure. I think it's all pretty sketchy. So she just changed his last name from Wells to Walls. Crazy, right? And how is that helping Summer? I think by them giving her toys away is telling us more about the situation and what we really wanted to know. Because, like I said, that's pretty definite. Because after 7 months, or 5 months, if I can't let go of something as goofy as a jacket, How can they be ready to get rid of a 5-year-old's favorite toys? You know, I didn't think so. I did not think that they were about to run. But where is Dawn? And are they getting rid of everything because they're getting ready to run? Or did they get rid of it simply because they know for a fact that she's not coming back? Did y'all see where I found 19 Seventh-day Adventist churches within a 20-mile radius today? Check that out. It's on our community wall. I know in this community that I'm at, we might have one, maybe two in a 20-mile radius. And the Churchill Rescue Squad was listed as one. And it was also listed as a religious for-profit organization. That needs to be looked into because, you know, that woman has already been caught stealing once before. Why is it even listed as a religious organization? They get state grants. And I know this from working for rescue squads, for fire departments, for emergency medical services, practically all my life. We get grants every year to replace fire trucks, equipment, medical equipment, and so on. So I would assume that there's a fine line there between church and state. And if you're getting donations from the state or the federal government or any kind of grants from the state or federal government, that you could not be listed as a religious organization. And I have never seen a volunteer rescue squad listed as a religious organization. Thank you. And then, you know, after I thought back on that, I thought, you know, there was several pictures of Summer at the rescue squad sitting on the back of the trucks and stuff like that through the years. Like somebody spent a lot of time up there, or they knew those people fairly well, and there may even be something shifty going on there. I didn't know that he was a drone operator. My kids were always number 27 too. That was my number when I played. Well, I knew that he done real estate photography and videography, but I did not know that he operated drones. The flower pots are gone too. Wow, 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 wow. I hope that they've got a good eye on them people. I just can't imagine where they would be going to other than Utah. Um, I seen a blog post today out of Wisconsin, and it said that this was from back in September, though. It's what threw me off. It said that Donald Wesley Wells Jr., and this is why I didn't post it, was because I have not been able to find anything to prove that the blog post was correct. Had been picked up back in September on those charges out of Utah to do with his sisters. And he was arrested without any incident. And I thought, well, that can't be right because it was in October when he was arrested for the DUI. So that's one thing that I'm looking into and I'm trying to verify. If maybe the dates were wrong on it. You know, sometimes when you run across a website and you open it up, the dates may not be quite right or whatever. So I am actually trying to verify that he hasn't been picked up and extradited back to Utah or anything. But I thought that I was told yesterday or day before that they were not going to be able to pick him up, that it had been too long on those charges. But anyway, that's why I didn't post that particular post, was because I couldn't verify it. It pissed me off. There's just no other way about it. And like I said, it just makes it so definitive that she's not coming home when you give away her favorite toys. They couldn't have carried that on the airplane with them, though. You can't carry any kind of substance like that on like a hard substance, any big rocks to hit somebody in the head with and hijack an airplane. Because I thought about that. They would have had to just take the ashes and mix the mud somewhere else. But just to take the rock, they would not have been able to get on the airplane with it. Or so you would think. Then again, that's Tennessee, you know? Well, I'm trying to verify what I saw today. And verify the dates on it. Because I do know that that's why, you know, the last couple of Sabbath schools that we've seen, and it just seems like the video camera is sitting right on Don. I know that they're doing that because he's got that probation hearing coming up on that DUI. So they can say, look, Your Honor, he's been good. He's been here doing his community service. He's not been up there partying. He can pass his drug test. He's not doing any of this stuff that everybody is accusing them of doing up there. Look, we have proof of it, Your Honor. You know, I cannot believe that these people are still walking around. But then again, it just don't seem to me like law enforcement really cares. That's the that's the worst thing about it all. But we don't know when he got fired from that crematorium. The Facebook post says 1 year ago, but we don't know if that means like just like 6 or 7 months ago, because y'all know how Facebook posts go. And when I called up there, they just tell me, no comment, no comment. And they won't answer me um, about why he was fired or a date that he was fired. So we don't know if he had access to the crematorium or not. And I don't think, I mean, do you realize how hot a fire has to get to actually completely burn a body? It's hard to do. It's harder than what people think it is. They are. That's what I'm saying. Doing it without having access to the crematorium is going to be hard, hard, hard to do. So we don't know if that date. I have actually thought about calling up there, maybe actually acting like I'm doing a job reference instead of just asking questions. So the next time I try, I may be like, hey, I'm thinking about hiring this guy. Well, I've heard a couple of people drop hints about maybe Don was going to rehab, but then I hear other people say things about texting Don, and I know for a fact from past experience that you cannot have a phone in rehab at all. And they search you down. They search your bags when you go in, they search your persons. We used to have to put my ex in rehab a couple times a year. Because I thought about that. And y'all remember, like, when Molly and them were there, everybody kept asking Benny, well, did you text Don? Did you let him know? Did you let him know? Well, he shouldn't have access to a phone. And even Cher, texting and calling him, he shouldn't have access to a phone. They say that interferes in a person's sobriety to know what's going on in the outside world, and that's why you're only limited to however many minutes a day or week or after the first 7 days. Okay. I didn't. It's been it's been several. Well, I know I've been by myself now for almost 3 years, so it's been a minute since I've had any dealings with the rehab. I know used to they couldn't have them at all. Oh, thank you. That's called cat's eye. And when the sunlight hits it, it just goes all different directions. And it comes in all different colors, too. I found that color when I first, um, I bought a summer hoodie with her picture on it and her information and everything. And I found it in that forest green color. And the first time I wore it, I went to get my nails matched to that color. And when I found this color, I decided I liked it. So I get them done like this probably once every couple of months in this color. So is Tim Mullen the one that's out there running the drones looking for summer? Because I thought that was a private company out there, first to deploy or whatever. Because if he's the one out there doing it and he's also the one that's got these people signing non-disclosure agreements and stuff, it almost makes him look like a reward hunter, like a treasure hunter or something. Right. So, I mean, what is he? Is he a PR manager or is he a treasure hunter? A reward hunter? I don't think anybody is really actively looking for her. Um, Tonight, Cam said something about they had been out looking for her and all that property had been checked. And I did make a comment and it got erased that law enforcement says that over half of that property is still unchecked. Now they may have went over it with drones and stuff, but as far as physically checking it, they could only check like 3,000 or 3 acres of the 11 acres. I forgot how many square feet that equaled out to be. I would have to get a calculator because it was just too rough for them back in the summer. And that's not even where they were looking at when they went back in the early fall. And I do know that, they had been out a couple of times, but they've not covered 7 acres with just, or 8 acres with just 2 or 3 or 4 of them. Not searching it shoulder to shoulder, knee to knee. step for step the way that it's supposed to be searched, especially after this amount of time. You really should have like a little rake, and every step that you take, you rake the dirt after every step, because you're actually just looking at, as bad as I hate to say it, at this point in time, if you're looking out in the elements, that's what you're looking for, is just fractions. I agree. I put, it's probably been some amount of time, several months, where I posted the Google Earth, the caves that are on the back side of that mountain where the whales live, on the back side of that property. There's some cave systems and probably some tunnel systems. There was not any mine shafts or mine systems until you got, I mean, like miles. Um, but there are areas in the Appalachian Mountains that we call sinkholes, where you're just walking and the ground just falls through for no reason. I mean, whether it be that an old well was there once upon a time, or the ground just gives for whatever reason. But if that happened, they would have been able to see that with drones. Right. There's not many places that she could be hiding. And even if say a bear would have grabbed her and took her back to the den, and if a bear grabbed her, chances are, if people was hollering and screaming for her, it would have scared the bear and it would have took her back to the den. After a certain amount of time and the bear going in and out the den, the clothing would still have been strode and found, and there still would have been scents that took the dog straight to her and that animal. That's just the way it works. Exactly. Blood, DNA, clothes, and it would have been a bloody mess. I don't know if y'all ever even watched, like on National Geographic, where a bear just eats a salmon fish. I mean, that's nasty. So you could just, and they usually don't fool with big things like that. They like real smaller mammals. These aren't like these great big old grizzly bears. They're big, but brown bears and grizzly bears are two different things. I think brown bears and black bears is what they call them. Now, the further you get up into the Smokies, you do start running into bears like that. And the same thing with wildcats. And it is a bloody mess. They would have found her like quick. Y'all go back, find that video of Jay's from tonight. Listen to what Candace says about when she first seen Jody Sue on the 15th. Then come back over to my channel or anywhere anybody's got Jody Sue's first accounts of when she first realized Summer was gone. And the two stories do not match at all. Where Candace says she's seen Jody Sue at is not anywhere near where Jody Sue says she's seen Candace at. And that makes me wonder why those two stories are so dramatically off. Not just a little bit, not just a couple details. The church is probably guilty by helping through association of disposing of the body. That's probably where they're going to get themselves in trouble at. And then I think that they have been doing a whole lot of things that they shouldn't be doing, and it's just going to cause the whole thing to fall in on them. Well, like I said, I have found 19 Seventh-day Adventist churches within a 22-mile radius just today. Why does one community, well, it's not just one community, it's Bristol, Virginia, Johnson City, Tennessee, there's one in Rogersville, one in Kingsport, one in Greenville, one in Morristown, and all these itty-bitty communities that are right there together. Everybody's got one or two SDA churches. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the same senior pastor is the same one over all of them. Because Robin made a video on it this morning. Robin and the kids at the church was cleaning her toys after they were donated. But to find 19 of them really surprised me, because the way that they talk, their congregation isn't big enough to do this or to do that. Well, for fuck's sake, they got enough money coming in to run 19. Well, actually 18 if you take away the Churchill Rescue Squad. But they had money coming in through the Churchill Rescue Squad. And I'm going to bring that to the attention of the TBI in the morning when I call, or here in a little while when I call, because if Churchill Rescue Squad still has anything to do with the handling of any reward funds or anything like that, we don't need any misappropriation of funds whatsoever. I don't know where or how any of that's working, or if it's all through Civis Bank or what, but That's crazy. Like I said, as long as I have worked search and rescue and rescue squad and fire departments, I've never seen one listed as a religious organization. And if Hunter is the only minor that she's been messing with, I have a feeling I can pull one more. One more minor at least. Well, you know that as small as that area is, that the school system is even smaller, and thank God they're out of that area and they're going to school in different areas and stuff. But you know, everything that their parents were doing was reflecting on them in school. That's something else I'm wondering about, because you know they had them set up on a 6 month plan through CPS. Well, the 6 months is about to be up here in the next week or two. Hunter's sister, True. No, how it might have been True that said that they were having a relationship, or I don't remember exactly how it come out for sure, but somebody in the family confirmed that there was a relationship with Hunter, inappropriate relationship with Hunter. And don't take me to the bank on it was definitely her that said it, because I have done so much research and I have had so much go. I think it was her, but I've had so much go in and out of my brain. But yeah, everything that was going on at that house. Oh, and what was it here? What just a week or so ago about the parties that they were having with the miners that was up there, and um was giving the miners drugs and alcohol, and then wouldn't let them go home until they sobered up, or it was the kid's parent that the boys went to school with, that was friends with the two boys, I believe. That was telling about that. And then you had the neighbors that we heard stopping people on the road saying that both of them were pedophiles. But you know, just because somebody says it don't mean. But you know, when you've got a lot of people saying it, then Oh, excuse me. I am sorry. That is so rude. It just kind of jumped out there. I told y'all I had eat way too much this weekend. It's what I hate about holidays. You eat until you make yourself almost sick. And I do it every time. I say when I'm cooking, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm not going to do that this time. And then you sit and you have to taste everything while it's cooking, right? You have to. I think that they are going towards the house, not away from the house. And that's why I think that's Hunter in the truck with her. And I think that that milk had already gotten warm by then because it does not take long in 80-degree weather. That milk is not as cold as everybody has made it out to be. Are you sure that's not Hunter? Because that's not her mom's voice. That is either a different female or a young male. Doesn't sound like her mom to me at all. And I have put it side by side with the video that she's doing where she's looking for Rose. Yeah. I don't know. I think the woman that was in the house with him that night might have been one of the either private detectives or it was that Dale woman that had been staying up there. That's a good possibility because if you go back and you listen to where Chris Madonna asked Robin if she had seen Candace any at all that day prior to, she has to think about it and she's like, don't think so. No, I didn't. Because he asked her, did you see her prior to going up there that night after Summer has disappeared? And she has to stop and think about. And she's, no, no, I don't think so. He wasn't pooping. He was shooting up in that vein that runs up into your thigh, right in the crevice of your leg. Guarantee you. And that's why his head dropped like that. He fell asleep just like for a split second. But I guess that's just the EMT in me seeing what I want to see in that. But that's, I think that he was definitely shooting up. Exactly. Never wiped or nothing. He reaches down there. He does what he's got to do. His head drops. His head bobs. Just like it's, and then he comes back up just like a good drug addict will do every time. I don't remember what day the 15th was on, and I've already threw out last year's calendar. Yeah. Man, I don't. If the police did really show up that night to do a welfare check on them, I don't see how they didn't at least have the paramedics up there giving her a shot of Narcan, because she was. He's gonna shoot her up, and she's gonna end up dead. Is what's gonna happen to her, and they're not gonna be able to prove who shot up who. When people are strung out on drugs like that, it is so easy for one to do something wicked to the other, and it just be got away with. And they go, oh, well, it was just an overdose. Well, yeah, it was just an overdose, but who pushed the syringe? I did. They found that body in Knox County, but now remember that it's only been 10 days ago that there was a young woman that come up missing. I don't remember exactly how old, but I think she was like very early 20s. But she's only been missing for like 10 or 11 days. And from that county, from Knox County. So I'm more leaning towards it's probably her. But hopefully, maybe it's this baby and we can put an end to it. Well, if it's just all skeleton bones, I mean, as cold as it's been, I mean, we've only had like 2 or 3 days of warm weather out of the last 2.5, 3 weeks. So I don't think that it would just be skeletal remains if it was the girl that's only been missing like for 10 days. But you never know what they done to her. You know, they're getting where they pour acid on the skin and stuff up there to break it down and all kinds of sick stuff. They never do in Tennessee or Alabama, Mississippi until the medical examiner comes in and it comes from the medical examiner. They caught a lawsuit, Tennessee caught a lawsuit a few years back for releasing information before the medical examiner actually put his seal on it. So they don't release anything, and the medical examiner has not been in because of the holidays. But normally, the medical examiner can just look pretty quick and release something within at least 10, 12, within the first 24 hours anyway, and say, yeah, it's either child or adult. But they've not been in all weekend. It is, and it's not only sad as fuck, it's sick as fuck. You got to remember, we're in the deep south, and when the medical examiners and sheriffs and stuff, when they take off work, the whole community is without a coroner, medical examiner, sheriff. Unless you're in a big, big city. But we've got one coroner per county. And sometimes you can call in a medical examiner from the next county if they have one on call. But it being Christmas, I'm guessing that they all took off for the weekend. You know, I was looking at, there's a picture of Don and Candace in the hospital, supposedly, when Summer was born in February 2016. And he's got a bald head. That baby looks like either one of those, what is it, those realistic unborn babies, them plastic babies, or it already looks like it's both of its eyes is swelled up or something. And I'm wondering if, because neither one of them's even smiling in that picture, if that's not the baby that they put up for adoption, if there might not have been two of them. That's exactly what I just said, April. Because it don't look like her. It almost looks like that baby's got Down syndrome in that picture if you look at it real close. Go back and look at that picture and look at its eyes and its nose. It don't even look like fetal alcohol syndrome. It looks like Down syndrome. Or one of those reborn baby. Reborns, not unborn. Reborn's the name of them. And, you know, still, which I'm not, I'm going to get to it tomorrow, looking into the Latter-day Saints Church there at the end of Blair Gaps Road. I'm still wondering, I don't know how many other medical professionals or nurses that I might have in here that sit through the same biology classes that I had to sit through. But for two brown-headed people to keep producing blonde-haired, blue-eyed kids is almost unheard of. One, yes. A red-headed one, probably. Brunette, more likely. But to keep producing solid blonde-headed kids with blue eyes, something's off about that. Genetically, that is recessive genes showing up there. It's not dominant genes, it's recessive genes. And I'm wondering if they're not taking in kids for the Latter-day Saints church or something. Or maybe even for the SDA church. I don't know. Maybe that's where they're getting their money from. I have no idea, but I know that two dark brown headed people, one with blue eyes and one with brown eyes, should not be producing really pale, blonde headed kids all with blue eyes. You remember back when you was in about 7th grade, you had to do the squares and you would have big B, little b, and you had to match the squares up, and then you'd have what you would most likely have if you mixed this gene with this gene, and it shouldn't work 4 out of 4 times to have blonde hair and blue eyes. She does favor Dawn's mom some. I've even wondered, does she belong maybe to Donald Wells the third, and they took her in while he was in jail? And then when he got out of jail, did they want her back? That crossed my mind. Because the timing would have been about the right time for when he got picked up and set in prison for solicitation, sexual solicitation of a child. Exactly. Morning after morning, the sun comes up and it's something else. Boarding school in Kentucky is definitely on my list. It's on a very short list. Boarding school in Michigan is a short list. Boarding school in New York is even a shorter list. Boarding school in New York is a short list. They may have originally intended for her to be in a board. If the boarding school is a thing, they may have originally sent her to Kentucky, and as the heat grew and grew and grew and grew, they had to get her out of the South. And that might have been why Dawn had to go to Knoxville, was to sign papers to have her transferred. Well, I'm wondering why Tim Mullen. We know that Dawn and the Lawsons are related. We know that Dawn and the girl that was kidnapped on that same property are probably related, Carly Trent. But why is Tim Mullen using the Goad last name as an alias? a whole nother subject, and I can't find anything legally under a Timothy Goad. Everything is listed in his name as a Mullen. So I don't get that at all. Anybody else have a clue? Because he is listed in his list of aliases as Timothy Goad. Right. She did not intend on those boys getting snatched away like that. I've thought the same thing. Well, maybe when Allison got True back, when she came back home, she might have been pregnant. And Dawn and Candace took her kid in, and Summer might have belonged to her. I think both of them know exactly where she's at, whether it's in the city dump, or if it's a boarding school, or if it's with a relative. I wholeheartedly, like I said, them giving her toys away, that's definitive right there. Either that child has a room full of brand new, better toys somewhere, or she's gone and she's not coming back. Either way, it's a definitive done deal. Well, that is what. See, Dawn says, I wasn't there. I didn't see it. That's what Candace told me. Allison said. So we don't even know that that's factual, that Allison ever even really done that or said that. That is what. I mean, a million people would have heard her say it at a parade. And why would you say something like that? Why would you scream something like that at somebody at a parade where a whole town full of people would have heard you say it, and that would have incriminated you? I'm not sure that I believe that she said it. One, we know that Candace has substance abuse issues. And for sure, when she's on substances, that she has mental issues. Now, whether she has mental issues when she's not on substances, we don't know, because we don't ever see her when she's not on substances. So I'm just not sure that that was even said. But I do know that that Branch Davidian school in New York and that Branch Davidian church in New York, that's bigger than the one that was ever in Waco, is only 50 miles from Gloverville, New York. So how many kids have been taken up there and this done for, or done to, or you know what I'm saying? just 1 second, guys. All right, go lay down, sweet girl. Go lay down, sweet girl. Sorry, had to let my doggy in. But I thought that that was a big coincidence that that school and that church or compound, whatever it is, was that close to that place where Allison and them are from in New York. That hit anybody else is weird. And didn't Candace and Allison all take a trip up there together at one time while Dawn was gone to Utah? Wasn't that where they all went together? I don't know about her refusing to lie about Dawn, because we don't know what the truth is about Dawn. I don't know which one. All I'm saying, I don't know which one to believe. Because, like I said, we do know that Candace has substance abuse issues, and we do know that Candace has mental issues when she's using substances. And she was drinking when she done the video to give to Ziggy, but the stories didn't even match where they supposedly saw each other on the 15th. But I didn't say anything about Dawn or Jody Sue and Dawn or Jody Sue lying for Dawn. Don't know, that come out of left field. I was referring to the what we was talking about was the reviewing the video that Jay for Justice had put out this evening. Lay down and get comfortable, babe. It's time to come in and go to bed. Well, I did catch um, one part when she said, and I went flying, running down those stairs, and I thought, yeah, buddy, I don't see anybody running down those stairs. I just, uh, I just don't see anybody that could run down those stairs. And she said that she was just screaming and hollering, and she said that she told that same story to the police 4 times. And if she told the police that she was screaming and hollering like that, like a maniac, all over the property like that, then that's probably why everybody says the scream is unfounded. I don't know. I would love to ask the law enforcement officers why that they think that if you stand at a bluff and you scream, that sound goes down through the bluff and it echoes around, right? Now, back behind you, they may not be able to hear it, but all down in that valley or that holler and up the other side, you can hear it. So, if you've got a hill here and something like that, and then you've got another hill over here, I can see where that sound would travel, just like standing on a bluff and screaming. It would be the same, or to me, I can reason that in my mind of the way sound travels. But that's me living in a high mountainous area just about all my life. Would you want, if it was you, would you want to tell the police? She should have, if she had nothing to hide about it. And if it was just something like they was having trouble getting Summer out of their bed, she should have stated that. We've tried breaking her sleeping with us, and we can't get her out of our bed. She could have stated that, but she didn't. But 5's still a little old. I don't. Maybe 1.5 or so. 1.5. I might have still had one of my sons sleeping with me. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember buying his toddler bed, and I would put it like at the foot of my bed, and every night when I would go to bed, I would move him over into his toddler bed, and I would move him like 2 feet at a time every night. I would move that bed another 2 foot, his little toddler bed, until I finally got him out in the hallway. And then once I got that bed out in the hallway, then we started every night moving it another 2 foot until I finally got him all the way to his bedroom. But we moved that damn bed 2 foot at a time. And I don't, it was 3 or 4 weeks it took us to finally get him from our bed to his bedroom. But that was the process that we had to take. But he was just like a year or a year and a half. Something like that. He wasn't 5, that was for sure. And I didn't have a girl. sleeping with my husband, at 5. I guess that's, and my husband with substance abuse issues. Exactly. And I do believe that she was jealous of her. I do. At first, I thought there's no way that anybody is jealous of their little girl like that. Because I remember looking at my daughter and thinking, oh, she is just the most beautiful thing in the world. And feeling proud of that. Not jealous, but proud that she was that pretty. But after seeing her time and time and time again, and then the night that she actually, when Don was saying, and I've got Starlink or something, and she thought he was saying Starla or whatever it was, and was basically accusing him of even being with somebody named Starlink. I thought, okay, this is it. This has got to be the funniest shit I have ever seen before in my life right here. I knew then, yeah, she's got some serious jealousy issues going on. And that, I was like, yeah, she was jealous of Summer. Exactly. But I don't think, I guess some mothers do, or we wouldn't have the situation going on in the world the way that it is. But I know time and time again that I have been called out on a medical call early in the mornings about the time, school, working on the ambulance and stuff, to where a child had been sleeping in the bed with a parent, and the dad had been drinking the night before and had rolled over and started touching on the kid, thinking that it was the adult that he was sleeping next to, I guess. And then the next morning, after the dad leaving, the child telling the mom. And then, of course, the police call out the medics and everything. I don't see how a parent could put a child like that in that situation with somebody who had substance abuse issues. But like I said, evidently people do, or we wouldn't still have this problem going on. Not the way that it is rampant. Gotcha. Exactly, Janine. You too. I think I have kept you guys about long enough, and I didn't sleep good last night or the night before. And I think I'm fixing to call it a night, and I am going to try to get some rest so I can get up in the morning and actually call the TBI and talk to them before they get out and about these things that I've run across today. And at least I can say I did let them know about it, whether they check into it or not. And I love you guys. And I will see y'all tomorrow night sometime. You know, I don't do very many lives during the day. I sleep late and do all my running around during the day. And it's always usually nighttime before I get settled in enough to do lives and everything. But y'all have a great night and a great morning no matter where you're at. And I love you guys. Bye.